Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Save the Bay podcast. I am Danielle Garillo, communications intern, here with Adam Kowarski, our aquarium manager.
Good morning, everyone.
Thanks for joining us today. So, Adam, what is our theme for the month here at the Exploration Center?
All right, guys. So for November, our theme is going to be habitats. Now, that sounds like something many of you may know a lot about, but there is always something new to learn about habitats. And one unique thing about Narragansett Bay habitats is there is a very wide variety of different habitats with very different purposes that maybe a lot of people don't know about, which I think can be very interesting in a lot of different ways.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So what are some of your favorite or most unique habitats that we have here in the Bay?
Yeah, well, there's a pretty good collection. Things that we have here, we have everything from rocky shore, which is very classic New England. It's the kind of what you think of when you think of New England shorelines is rocky shore habitat. We have plenty of sandy beaches, which are beautiful. We have salt marshes, which are kind of like the kidneys of the bay, really important, kind of filter everything before it goes in there. There's sandy bottom habitats. There's eelgrass beds, which is actually a disappearing habitat worldwide, a very important one to talk about for sure. And then there's even some very interesting habitats which are anthropogenic, things that man has made without really realizing it till many years later. And these emergent habitats are something I'd love to talk about. They're a lot of fun.
All right, so what kinds of emerging habitats are we seeing in the Bay? Yeah,
so one that really has become unique is dock space, actually, as crazy as that sounds. Wow. So if you ever, maybe not this time of year as much because it's pretty chilly, but if you ever get the chance, stick your head under a dock. Be safe, be careful. Those of you at home, don't do this unless you have proper supervision. But if you look underneath there, you can look underneath. It'll almost look like a coral reef from another part of the world. You get bright colors of all these different funky-looking organisms living underneath there. And at one point, when docks were made, you would see things like barnacles and snails and sea stars and mussels and urchins, right, different kinds of seaweed, stuff like that. But over the past maybe 20, 30 years or so, those populations have really been changing, which is kind of neat too. And these changes are also caused by humans. So we're getting these really beautiful things, like I said, with those oranges and yellows and reds, these colors coming from other parts of the world. They're being brought here on the hulls of boats and ballast water, things like that. We're getting these tunicates that are living underneath the docks, and they're just the most beautiful thing, but they do cause a lot of environmental damage, actually.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So we have a ton of critters here at the EC, and they all have different kinds of habitats when they're in the Bay. So what are some that you could highlight?
Yeah, so here at the Exploration Center and Aquarium, we really try and highlight as many different habitats as we have room to do in our space that we have here. So a great example right behind us is like a rocky bottom habitat in our Big Fish of the Bay tank here. So a lot of New England, it's got rocky crevices. Narragansett Bay was carved out by glaciers, and there's a lot of exposed bedrock in areas where these animals will hide in the rocks to wait for their prey and kind of make a living there. That's a great one. And then, again, you can see, an artificial eelgrass bed here at the aquarium as well, where we have things like pipefish and seahorses. Without these eelgrass beds, you don't get things like bay scallops. The seahorses don't have anywhere to really live either without these eelgrass beds, too. So that's a really important one. We have artificial salt marshes here, where we have our diamondback terrapins, which is another endangered species in Rhode Island.
Those are some of my favorites here.
They're beautiful. They're really cool. We have two rescue ones, Phil and Jerry. And great news about them, actually, recently, this past year, they've discovered that they are utilizing new habitat in the bay. Not different habitat, but a habitat that they've been extirpated from in the past. So now they're found in about 2 more populations than they were previously found. Which is great. Their numbers are increasing a little bit here and there. Cross our fingers, it's going to keep working. And it's still going to take a lot of hard work, but it's great to see that kind of habitat expansion.
Awesome. How about the snapping turtle? Do they have a similar habitat to the terrapins, or is it a little different?
So occasionally there can be some crossover. So sometimes if you get like a super hungry snapping turtle, or you get one that is really like on the hunt looking for somewhere to lay her eggs or something like that, or a new habitat, it might travel through a salt marsh, which is where the terrapins live. But for the most part, the snapping turtles prefer freshwater bodies, ponds, lakes, rivers, streams, things like that, and they can live in just about any size of those, and they're pretty much throughout the entirety of Rhode Island. We got a beautiful one here, too. His name is Bowser, the snapping turtle. He's got 2 extra fingers. It's really fun to see.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So he is mutated.
And last week, actually, I was able to go out on a Westward Seal tour and see the seals a couple seals in their natural habitat, which I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And a great thing is, we have our seal watching tour starting soon too, and that's another beautiful habitat to check out. And these seals have taken on a habitat that not many other things really decide to use. It's exposed intertidal rocks. So when the tide goes down, the seals haul out on these rocks. They go take a nap. They sleep. They rest there. It's a great time to check them out because they're being really lazy. They're quite adorable during these times. So it's a really good time to check them out.
All right, so animals are so reliant on their habitats, obviously, because it's their home. So it's super important for us to make sure that we're taking care of the bay and not polluting to it or ruining their place that they call home.
Yeah, it's a huge thing, and I completely agree with you. Save the Bay is here to try and save the bay, and the bay is made up of this beautiful collection of habitats that is really unique. You lose one of those habitats, all of a sudden the bay is less unique, there's less diversity, and that's going to affect the entire bay. So really, big threats to habitat in the bay are construction. So when people are building in coastal zones, making sure that they follow the codes put forth by the CRMC, the Coastal Resource Management Committee, that's a huge one. Less polluting is huge, not over harvesting, and just general respect for these different habitats that we have in there. And as long as people are following those regulations that are made with sound, good science, it's the way that we're going to keep them around, which is a good thing, and really a lot of at least Rhode Island is following those things. It's a wonderful thing. Awesome. Yeah.
So what kind of cool things do we have going on here in the month of November at the EC?
Yeah. So going along with our theme that's, changing every month in November here, we're going to have different story time activities going on that relates to habitats. We're going to have specific crafts that are habitat related. They're probably going to be constructing habitats and things like that. They usually keep it as a surprise for me, too. I like to see it when it comes out. And we're going to have different scavenger hunts where people can, again, win prizes. Always tons of fun to do. Go and win those prizes. And then we'll even this end of this month here, or this month, November, we're going to be unveiling one of our new animals, which is really cool. We just got him in about a week ago.
Awesome.
He's wonderful. And this animal actually usually occupies a unique habitat that not a lot of animals really usually occupy in Narragansett Bay. So this thing's called a sea hare. It's a really funny thing. It's called a sea hare, like Hare, because it looks like it's got little hare ears, little rabbit ears almost, and that's how it got the name.
Okay.
Really cool. This thing swims around in seaweed beds, and it grazes on seaweed. Now, there's not a lot of animals in Rhode Island that make a living really grazing and swimming through seaweed, but this one here, it normally occurs kind of like from the Carolinas to Florida, doing that for most of the time, especially in the summer and stuff like that. This one got washed up here. We got it through the Gulf Stream current. It's a stray, so it's lucky we got it again.
Yeah.
And it was actually pulled up in a local lobsterman's lobster pot. So we're going to display him here. He's been eating very readily, which is good. And it's been a lot of fun with him so far. So people need to come check it out. Awesome.
So the feeding frenzy, the next one is November 17th.
Yes.
So will we be able to see the sea hare?
Yeah, so actually, guys, this animal is so unique. I've never seen one. I've been doing, work in marine biology type fields since about 2002. I've never seen a sea hare before in my life, and I don't really know anyone who has. But you can come here, sign up, register on our website, savebay.org/aquarium. You could register for Feeding Frenzy right on there. You can come in, feed all the animals here, including the sea hare, which is really fun. We actually just tried to feed him just now, a few minutes ago. You got to see that too, right?
Yeah, it was awesome.
I love it. It's like my favorite thing. My new favorite thing. I always have a new favorite thing, but this is the one right now.
So, right now we're in our winter hours, so we're open Friday through Sunday, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., and then also on Veterans Day, we will be open.
Right. Yes, so we'll be open Veterans Day, which is a great holiday for our country here. We're going to be open that day. Public schools in Rhode Island don't have school that day, so bring your kids here. They're going to want to have something to do. It's going to be chilly out. It's November. The nice thing for that too, any active or not active, and any veterans from the military, they can come in. They get big discounts on admission. I think we're doing half off.
50%. Yep.
Yeah, 50. Okay, thank you. Yeah, so 50% off for the military, and we're also offering a military membership, which is a unique thing because we're going to be giving a discounted, basically family membership price of $50 as opposed to the $60 one. So you can come in here, get the membership. You get to come for free for an entire year with a very small fee, that's only offered to military families. So they should really come in here, take advantage of that while they can.
All right, awesome. So we're going to turn things over to Matt, who's with Leanne Danielson and Richard Harrington to talk about the upcoming Artists for the Bay show and sale.
Such a good event. That's a wonderful one.
Okay, we're here with Leanne Danielson and Richard Harrington. We are going to talk art show. So, Leanne, what is the art show? Artists for the Bay show and sale.
Yeah, it's definitely a show and sale. It's our annual art fundraiser. Our goal is usually about $25,000. It's December 1st all the way through the end of January. So we have about 75 artists, and we bring in jewelers and artists, and it's one of our big fundraisers. So it's our opening reception is Thursday, December 1st from 6 to 8:30. So that's when we have all the artists come. We have about 250, 300 people there.
Now, Richard, where do you fit into this?
Well, I'm one of the artists that bring my work in, and they hang it for the time that they need to, and hopefully to sell some of the work, but also to show the work that I'm doing presently. Mm-hmm. It's artists like to show their work in various venues, and this is one of them. Save the Bay has been my favorite for the past few years.
That's very nice of you to say.
Okay.
That's what we like to hear.
What are some of your past experiences with the Artists for the Bay show and sale?
Well, I heard about it maybe 4 years ago, and people were telling me that it's a nice venue, it's a good gallery space, and it's for a good cause. And having grown up in Rhode Island, and having swum in the rivers and gone clamming and so forth, I really think that the Bay is really important. So I choose my charities kind of carefully, and this is important to me. Great.
And so you brought some pieces.
I did.
Right behind you. Are these the type? What? I'm not an art connoisseur, but what type of art do you do?
Well, right now I'm doing a lot of abstract art.
Okay.
And I've gone from being very realistic to being very abstract. And I take a theme such as summer or spring or weather or time of day, mm-hmm. and I explore it through color, through marks, through shapes and forms. And so this is a result of that. And these are 12 by 12s acrylic on canvas. And I paint as big as 36 by 36 or 40 by 40.
Oh, wow.
Same theme sometimes. There's also a theme going about connections and compartments. And that's rather important to me, too.
Excellent. And so these are the type of paintings you're going to have at the show this year?
And so these were done over the summer. One of them is called Pathway to the Beach. Maybe you don't see that, but this is what I was going for.
Okay.
And spring jewels and names like that, things that would reflect upon what I was thinking of while I was painting.
Mm-hmm. Great. So your work will be at the opening reception.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How can it's your work and it's a lot of other artists'
Yes.
work. How can artists submit their work to this show?
Well, you can contact me directly at ldanielson@savebay.org. You can go to our webpage, and all the information is on there. The submissions, the entry forms, and the sign-off forms. So what you do is you will download those forms. You will email up to 8 submissions, and then it goes through a juried show, and then we choose which pieces we would like.
Great. So the art is on the walls. Richard, you're there. What else is going on at the art show?
Oh, it's pretty festive. Wouldn't you agree? It's pretty.
I agree.
We have several vendors like bottles. We've got caterers. We've got live music. We also have jewelers. And this year we might be adding a few more artisans as well. So it's a very active, it's about 250 people, very interactive. You can meet the artists, talk about their work. There's photography, there's painting, there's mixed media. Last year we had some sculpture, and then we've added jewelry the last couple of years.
Cool.
As well.
Very cool. And we have something new this year added to the added to kind of like the registration, I guess, where we made coasters.
Yes.
That we're handing out at local bars. I don't know if Leanne was telling you. Yeah, so we're handing out coasters at local bars that basically say, bring this coaster to the opening reception and you get a free gift.
Yep.
Which is kind of cool. And so we have them out, or
we're in the process of putting them out places like Trinity, G Pub. Just keep your eyes open at different pubs and restaurants that we partner with, and just make sure you grab it, throw it in your bag when you leave, and bring it over. And the fee is $35 to come in, but you bring that and you get a free gift, and it's a cool gift.
Which is really cool.
Yeah.
So we'll have to get you one of those coasters.
Absolutely.
So December 1st.
December 1st is opening reception.
You can register at savebay.org/art, or you can buy tickets at the door, correct?
Exactly.
Bring your coaster, find a coaster. So you have until December 1st to find one of those coasters so you can get your free gift.
Can't miss it. It's bright red lettering all over it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you want to say about the art show? Any call out to your artist friends? Or
Exactly. Yeah. I think a lot of the artists do come and participate in the celebration of showing their art. And artists, of course, love to talk about their work. Mm-hmm. And this is a good place to do it with other artists, so that I can talk about how my art has changed over the years, as well as to new patrons coming to see the work. Mm-hmm. And people will often say, I saw your work at such and such a place. And it's not always about selling. It's about letting people see your work and appreciating it. Mm-hmm. So that really makes us motivated and enthused about doing more work.
Great.
And you can see more of my work at the Province Art Club. They have a little picture show. And I have a studio there, and my website is richardsharringtonart.com.
And I'll link that on the screen so everybody can see that. And if you're listening on iTunes, I'll have it in the description.
Terrific.
So thank you. And from a personal experience from last year at the art show and the year before, and since I've been at Save the Bay, it is really great to be able to talk with the artists there and talk about their work. And it's very accessible. So, yeah.
And the artists are very generous because we put a cap of 500, so it makes it very affordable for everybody. So the artists are very generous in a lot of times lowering their prices, and they also give back 50% of the proceeds. So we're very thankful for that.
That's great. Yeah, 50% of the proceeds come back to benefit Save the Bay programs and initiatives directly, which is really awesome.
Yes, we're very lucky to have so many artists like you to participate.
It is good.
Yeah.
And it's fun.
Yeah, it is a lot of fun. It is a great event. It's kind of like our version of Taste for the Winter.
It is, exactly.
It really is, with more art, a lot more art, great art. So coming up in the future, we'll talk about more, but Splash is coming up.
Is an obstacle course event with a polar plunge, and that's going to be February 11th, and that's at Easton's Beach. So get ready for that.
So we'll have more details coming up, but just mark that day on your calendar, and it's coming up very soon. So Leanne, Richard, thank you so much for coming in and talking with me. I'll see you at the art show.
Okay.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it.
All right, great.
Thanks.
All right, thanks, Matt, and thank you, everybody, for listening to our Save the Bay podcast with our November theme, Habitats of the Narragansett Bay. Adam, thank you, as always, for joining us.
Of course, it's tons of fun. I love it.
And make sure you check us out on Facebook and Twitter. And if you're listening to this on SoundCloud, you can also find the video version on YouTube. And same thing on YouTube, you can find the audio version on SoundCloud. And you can also check us out on iTunes. And if you do that, make sure you leave us a review and tell us how you think the podcast went. So thanks again for joining us, and see you next time.
Thanks a lot, guys. Have a good one.